I am 65 and I avoid people. Here is why. Reaching this age changes how we view life, relationships, and time. For a long time, I was the kind of person who showed up for everyone, family, friends, neighbors, whoever needed me. But over time, I realized that not every relationship deserves the energy it takes to keep it going. Now, at 65, I have understood that pulling away from some people is not about being bitter or upset. It is about keeping my peace, valuing how I spend my time, and focusing on what is truly important. In this video, I will share the life experiences that helped me reach this conclusion. We will look at how time feels more valuable as we grow older, how relationships shift naturally, and how spending time alone has become a source of calm rather than sadness. If this message speaks to you, or even makes you pause and reflect, then you are in the right place. Please like this video and subscribe to Candle of Wisdom. Together, we will explore how accepting these realities can help build a simpler, more meaningful life. Let us begin. Point 1. Time feels more valuable than ever at 65. One thing is absolutely clear. Time is not unlimited. When we were younger, it felt like we had all the time in the world. We would spend hours in empty talks, unfulfilling relationships, or doing things just because we felt guilty. But now, every minute feels like something precious, and I am not willing to waste it. This shift does not come from fear. It comes from understanding. Time is no longer just hours passing on a clock. It shapes how I choose to live each day. Each sunrise seems brighter. Every meaningful chat feels deeper. Even quiet moments like sipping coffee or walking in the park now have meaning I missed before. I have realized not everything and not everyone deserves my time. That is not being selfish. That is being wise. As we age, we must pause and ask ourselves, is this worth my time? Does it make me happy? Does it fit my values? If the answer is no, I move on. Because time wasted on things that do not matter is time taken away from what does. One way I practice this is by simplifying my relationships. I no longer say yes to every gathering or talk just to be polite. Now, I look for real connections where I can be honest and where my time is respected. A quiet chat over tea is better than a crowded room where I feel unseen every single time. This is not about being alone. It is about living with purpose. I'll see time as a loyal friend. It reminds me to slow down and enjoy what I once hurried through. It helps me choose carefully because every decision counts. And it tells me it is okay to let go of anything that no longer fits in my life. If you are feeling the same way, know this, you are not alone. There is no one right way to use your time at this stage of life. But here's what I have learned. Focus on what truly matters. It is not about how much time you have left. It is about how you choose to spend it. Protect it. Fill your time with purpose, calm, and the kind of people who truly lift you up. Because when you start treating time like the treasure it truly is, everything in your life begins to change. Relationships as time goes by, both our connections and we ourselves go through changes. At 65, I have come to understand something difficult. Some relationships are not built to last forever, and that is perfectly fine. It does not mean something went wrong. It just means life is moving on. When I was younger, I thought every relationship needed constant effort to survive. I remembered every birthday, went to every event, and reached out to people even when I was emotionally tired. I believed showing up for everyone made me a good person, a loyal friend, a caring neighbor, a supportive family member. But slowly, I began to see a pattern. Not all connections are the same. Some help you grow and give you strength. Others leave you drained. This realization came through many years, some filled with joy, others with hurt. I have been let down by those I trusted. I have been disappointed by people I once looked up to. I have even grown distant from family members simply because our paths took different directions. For a long time, I took those breaks to heart. Questioned myself, did I mess up? Could I have done more? But now, my view has changed. People grow. I have grown. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for them is to let go. One of the most freeing lessons I have learned is to focus only on relationships that feel balanced. A good relationship is not one where you keep giving and getting nothing in return. It is built on fairness. Does this person lift you up the way you lift them? Do they listen, not just speak? Do they bring light into your life, or do they take it away? With time, my circle has become smaller. But what is left feels solid, deep, and honest. The friends and family who are still a part of my life now are the ones who truly care. They see me for who I am, accept me fully, and add meaning to my days. I do not waste energy anymore trying to save relationships that do not fit my life now. That does not mean I never feel a wave of old memories. Sometimes I do think about those I have lost touch with, friends who drifted away, or family whose paths no longer connect with mine. But instead of feeling sad, I feel thankful. Those relationships helped shape who I am. They taught me things, gave me moments I will always remember. They were a part of my story, even if they are not part of my current life. So here is what I would tell you. Do not keep holding on out of guilt or habit. Relationships, like life, are meant to grow and change. Give your time and heart to the ones that bring you calm. Let go of the ones that do not. When you do, you will find yourself surrounded by love, realness, and the kinds of connections that make life feel whole. Trust is one of the most delicate yet necessary parts of any relationship. Now that I am 65, I no longer give trust as easily as I once did. It is something sacred. And once it is broken, it leaves behind marks that do not fade quickly sometimes. Not even over a lifetime. In my younger days, I trusted quickly. I believed people meant well. I gave my time, my loyalty, and my care without holding back. That openness led me to some beautiful connections. But it also led to moments of pain. Over the years, I have been let down by people I never expected would hurt me. A friend who cared more about what I offered than who I truly was. A relative whose choices built a wall between us. And even a colleague who focused only on personal benefit instead of our shared goals. These experiences have changed how I view trust. They have not made me bitter, but they have taught me to be cautious. Now, when I meet someone new, my first thought is no longer, how do I connect with this person? Instead, I ask, why are they really here? It is not always comfortable to think this way, but it feels necessary. Still, I have learned that trust is not only about others. It is also about trusting yourself. Believing in my own instincts has been one of the biggest lessons in my life. When something feels wrong, I no longer ignore that feeling or call it overthinking. I have walked away from people who brought negativity, no matter how long they had been in my life. I have come to understand that protecting my peace is worth the hard choice of letting go. That being said, I still believe trust can exist. It just looks different. Now, there are moments when someone surprises you in the best way. A stranger who offers unexpected kindness, a neighbor who checks in during rough weather. These small, real moments remind me that even though trust is fragile, it is not lost forever. The real key is balance. It is not about building walls. It is about having boundaries. It means giving trust slowly, and only to those who prove they deserve it. It means keeping your circle tight, filled with people who show steady kindness, respect, and care. So you feel yourself becoming more protective of your trust as you grow older. Understand that it is okay. Looking after your trust is part of looking after yourself. It does not mean you are shutting the world out. It means you respect yourself enough to choose carefully. And at this point in life, that is exactly how it should be. Simplicity 4. The world has changed at 65. It is impossible to ignore how much. The world around us has shifted. Life now feels faster, louder, and more focused on technology than ever before. With all the advancement and convenience, something deeply meaningful seems to have faded. A sense of ease, closeness, and genuine connection. I was raised in a time when relationships felt real. Neighbors were more than just people living nearby. They were true companions. We would visit each other without needing to ask. We shared coffee, told stories, and laughed together. Families met often, not because they had to, but because they truly wanted to. Time spent together felt easy and special. Today, things are different. People are caught up chasing goals, ticking off endless tasks, and moving at full speed. Deep conversations have become short and rushed, crammed in between buzzing phones and constant alerts. Even time with family feels harder to come by, often limited by distance and busy schedules. Technology, while helpful in many ways, has played a role in all this. Yes, I love being able to video call my grandkids or reconnect with an old friend through social media. These tools help, no doubt, but they can also get in the way. Nothing truly compares to sitting across from someone, hearing their voice clearly, and feeling their presence face to face. There are times I miss how simple it used to be. Just being with someone, without all the digital noise. The constant stream of updates, alerts. The endless stream of news and updates has made the world feel louder than ever. And strangely, even with all this constant connection, many people feel more alone. It is a strange reality. We have countless ways to stay in touch, yet real, meaningful connections seem harder to find. This is not about rejecting change or wishing for the old days. Every time in history has its own difficulties, and every generation finds its way through. But now, at 65, I find myself craving simplicity more than ever before. I have chosen to distance myself from the noise and turn my focus toward what really matters. Genuine conversations, honest relationships, and the quiet comfort of shared, peaceful moments. If you feel this way too, know that it is perfectly fine to slow down. It is not about turning your back on modern life. It is about deciding where you want to spend your energy. By stepping away from the chaos, we can protect the parts of life that still feel pure and true. In this fast-moving world, searching for simplicity is not a sign of quitting. It is a way of holding on to the things that count the most. 5. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude and loneliness are very different things. Learning this truth has been one of the most freeing lessons of my life. Loneliness feels like an emptiness, a longing for company and connection. Solitude, on the other hand, is a decision, a space for calm, thinking, and personal growth. It is not something to be afraid of. It is something to welcome in quiet moments. I have found a clarity that is hard to find in the busyness of daily routines. There is real beauty in simple, peaceful experiences. Sitting outside with a warm cup of tea, listening to the breeze move through the trees, or watching the sun slowly drop below the horizon. These moments do not just fill time, they give it meaning. They remind me of the small joys life still offers. In these quiet spaces, I often think about the past. Not to dwell on regrets or missed chances, but to focus on the lessons I have learned and the memories that still bring me peace. Solitude helps me look inward and accept the life I have lived, and to feel thankful for who I have become. Does not mean I have pulled away from people. In fact, solitude has helped me value my relationships even more. It has allowed me to invest in the ones that matter, not the ones I used to keep out of habit or guilt. Now, when I spend time with people I care about, I am truly present and engaged. I enjoy the moments we share, rather than rushing through them. Solitude has also taught me self-worth. It is easy to believe that being around people all the time proves your value, but that is not true. Your worth does not come from how many friends you have, or how full your calendar is. It comes from understanding yourself and knowing what matters most to you. If you have ever feared being alone, I encourage you to see it in a new way. Solitude is not a punishment. It is a gift. It gives you space to hear your own thoughts, to think clearly, and to reconnect with your true self. The more you accept it, the more you realize it is a powerful source of clarity and strength. In solitude, you find balance and calm. You let go of the noise and focus on living your life your way. It is not about cutting people off. It is about living with intention. And in those quiet moments, you may find more peace and fulfillment than you ever expected. 6. Why I avoid people. Now, avoiding people is not driven by bitterness or anger. It is about preserving my peace. With time, I have come to see that not every connection needs to continue, and not every event or conversation is worth the energy it takes. This understanding did not come easily, but it has been one of the most important lessons of all. Some of the most important lessons in my life came slowly. For much of my younger years, I believed in always being available. I wanted to be someone people could rely on, the dependable friend, the helpful neighbor, the supportive relative. While that brought moments of happiness, it also left me feeling worn out. I gave too much of myself to people who did not give back, and to situations that no longer matched my values. Life eventually teaches us where to set limits, even if that understanding comes much later. I have had moments when my kindness was ignored, or my time was treated like it had no meaning. I overlooked the signs, thinking loyalty meant staying no matter what, even when it slowly took away my joy. But things are different now. I realize that choosing to avoid some people is not being selfish. It is about taking care of myself. There is peace in walking away from unhealthy relationships and releasing duties that no longer feel right. I have replaced constant social activity with the quiet comfort of meaningful alone time, instead of spreading myself too thin trying to please everyone. I now give attention to a smaller group of people, connections that actually bring warmth and happiness to my life. That does not mean I have completely distanced myself from everyone. The people who are still part of my life are here because they care, not because they need something from me. These relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. They are easy, supportive, and without unnecessary drama. I also stay away from those who bring negative energy, the ones who always complain, start conflict, or never ask how I am. They no longer have a place in my world. I have learned to put my own peace first, even if that means saying no more often, or choosing quiet time instead of company. Avoiding people is not about giving up on others. It is about respecting yourself enough to protect your mental space. It is about choosing relationships that support, not exhaust, and living in a way that brings real value. Life is too short to spend on things that do not make you feel alive. And by making this choice, I have discovered a freedom and happiness I did not expect. 7. Is this a shared experience? Have you ever caught yourself asking, am I the only one who feels like this? As I have grown older, I have asked that question many times, especially as I became more careful about who I let into my life. But the more I talk with others my age, the more I see that this is not just my personal story. It is something many people experience. Life teaches all of us some tough but meaningful lessons about relationships, priorities, and our own worth. For years, I tried to meet every expectation. I wanted to be the reliable friend, the family member always available, the neighbor who never said no. But over time, I saw what it cost me. I was giving so much to others that I had almost nothing left for myself. As I began to have deeper conversations with friends and others my age, I found they were going through the same thing. Many of us reach a stage where we no longer feel like we must be everything for everyone. We begin to choose deeper, more meaningful connections over just having a large number of people in our lives. The shallow friendships that once felt important start to lose their value. Now, what we truly want are conversations that mean something, shared laughs that feel real, and connections that are built on truth. This change is not always easy. Sometimes it feels like letting go of a piece of your past. Saying no to people who once counted on you can bring guilt, but it is not wrong. It is a way of looking after yourself. We cannot be everything for everyone. Trying to do so only leaves us exhausted and frustrated. By stepping back, we make room for relationships that support us rather than wear us down. And here's something important. You are not the only one feeling this way. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are making similar choices. It is not about cutting people off. It is about choosing peace and clarity. It is about caring for your well-being and focusing on what matters most. If you have found yourself drifting from relationships that no longer feel right, that is not a problem. It is a sign that you are growing. You are learning to respect your time and energy. Releasing what no longer brings you joy opens space for stronger, more honest relationships. At this stage, life is less about how many people are around you and more about the depth and truth of those relationships. And if this feels familiar to you, take comfort in knowing you are not alone. Together, we are learning to live more simply, to find more meaning, and to embrace a life that is completely true to who we are. 8. Embracing this chapter of life is not just a series of endings. It is also full of fresh beginnings. Each stage brings its own mix of lessons, struggles, and joys. Now at 65, I see this time as less about proving anything to anyone and more about fully accepting the person I have become. It is about leaving behind what no longer fits and paying attention to what truly adds value to life. There is a certain freedom in understanding this. When we are younger, we often live with a sense of urgency, always rushing to achieve more, do more, and meet expectations. We believe the future is wide open, so we keep chasing. But as the years pass, we begin to see that the present moment is where real meaning lives. This stage is about slowing down. It is about finding happiness in small, everyday moments, like watching the morning light come through the window, laughing with loved ones, or sitting quietly in a comfortable chair. These moments may seem ordinary, but they carry a depth that is hard to put into words. They remind us that life's real gifts are found in simple pleasures. It is also a time for thoughtful reflection. Looking back, I see my life as a collection of stories, some joyful, some painful, all important. Every win, every mistake, every hard moment has shaped who I am now. Reflecting allows me to honor the past without getting stuck in it. It is not about holding on. It is about being thankful for the lessons. But this stage is not just about memories. It is also about what is still to come. There is a quiet kind of excitement in knowing there is still time to grow, to learn, and to explore. Whether it is starting a new interest, taking care of a garden, or simply appreciating where you are right now, this phase of life brings its own special kind of opportunity. What truly makes this chapter meaningful is the sense of freedom that comes with it. It is the freedom to say no to what drains us, and yes to what brings calm and meaning. It is the courage to live honestly, without fear of judgment or the pressure to meet someone else's standards. And it is understanding that simply existing as we are is enough. If you are in this stage of life, I encourage you to welcome it fully. Let go of the constant noise and rushing. Shift your focus toward what brings peace and happiness. Life does not need to be flawless to be valuable. Sometimes the most rewarding and calm moments happen when we stop chasing and begin to appreciate what is already here. This chapter is ours to shape, So let us fill it with simplicity, gratitude, and honest joy. In closing, avoiding people at this stage is not about turning away from the world. It is about protecting the peace we have worked hard to earn. Life at 65 gives us the chance to truly focus on what holds meaning, real connections, moments of happiness, and a steady sense of inner peace. It is not driven by regret or bitterness. It is about choosing how to live with purpose. This phase is about releasing toxic relationships, letting go of unnecessary duties, and stopping the habit of constantly meeting others' expectations. Instead, it is about welcoming simplicity, living with honesty, and being thankful for the life we are building. The path here was full of lessons, some difficult, but all worthwhile, bringing us to this point of clarity and contentment. If you have felt something similar, know that it is perfectly okay to pick peace over stress and to put your own needs first. The real richness of life comes from how we spend our time, not how much we take on. Let this chapter be the one where you live with confidence, love with depth, and truly enjoy every moment you are given. From old is gold wisdom.